Hi everyone. So I have a question to you all. How do you capture hearts and minds of people in your organization? Well, it's the system that I've been reading, designing, researching in the past 7 years that I would like to share with you today on my quest to build heart-centered organization. It all started with this organization, ISEC, which I've been part of. And ISEC is famous for its amazing global environment, for creating a lot of leadership opportunities, team experiences. And I was myself a lucky person to be a part of it for quite some time. After ISEC, I joined what is called the corporate world, and I felt I had it all, where in fact I didn't. Miserable, unfulfilled, not being able to connect myself to the big vision. That's pretty much how I felt all this time. And I gave myself a promise out of these 2 years that I've been a part of, that whenever I have a chance, I will always contribute to make the organization where I work a heart-centered one. I believe that these organizations operate on the first fundamental premise, which is compelling mission. But these organizations also go beyond that. They constantly remind its employees about this mission, and the conversations that you hear there is not what business does, but why does it do that? What if I were to tell you today that it's your obligation as a manager to tell your people when you think they screw up? You need to be able to tell your employees when you think their job is not good enough or they are failing. And for this, the heart-centered organizations use the approach called radical candor. It's the feedback process, it's the type of leadership that you apply when working with people, when you are able to challenge them directly, being radically honest with them, and coming from the place of love. So as a manager, your role by using radical candor is to make sure that you are either not too empathetic, not too aggressive, or indifferent. You are radically candor with your people. What do you think is in common among these organizations that you see on the slide? Well, besides practicing holacracy and saying they are fully holacratic organizations, these organizations also practice 100% of transparency. And this means being transparent in financial data, income information, as well as salaries. So the heart-centered organizations always aim to reach that 100% of transparency. When Satya Nadella took over his role as CEO of Microsoft, he did two things. The first, he asked everyone to read in his team, to read the book called Nonviolent Communication. And secondly, he created a lot of space for this 100% transparency to happen. On this picture, you can see Mindvalley employees taking the course Speak and Inspire a few months ago. And one of the goals here was to create a lot of vulnerable stories and push each other to be open and share vulnerable stories. So that's when I came to realize that such organizations actually create a lot of environment of trust where these stories feel safe, everyone feels safe to be vulnerable. We all know about the well-being programs, right, and how they impact the productivity of the company, happiness of your employees. But in my research, what I realized that these organizations go beyond that. They create a lot of transformation through allowing its employees to fail and rise, to fail through mistakes and really acknowledge these mistakes, learn from them, and become better humans and better people. And lastly, what these organizations do differently is that they cultivate givers. The givers is someone who is helping everyone selflessly without expecting anything in return. Adam Grant talks a lot about them, but what he proves also that these people can be very successful and can drive business. One of the biggest givers in the history of humankind is Abraham Lincoln, who 3 times gave away his position to Senate and became a president at the end of the day. And he's one of the biggest givers, as they call him. So what if I were to encourage you today to ask your employees to work for free? And by that, I mean providing a lot of opportunities for them to share, to train, to mentor each other. And in this way, you can really send the message of cultivating the givers. Why do we need to care? about heart-centered organizations? Well, most of us here are part of corporate world, and I made myself a promise that when I'm a part of corporate world, I will be making a difference. And I believe by building heart-centered organizations, we can make a difference in this world. Thank you.